Jose Aldo is coming back, and you know what, guys? These seldomly go well, do they? Now, Jonathan Martinez is no pushover, and I'm going to kind of brush past him. But I want to preface right now, DraftKings has Martinez as the favorite. Martinez should be the favorite. I view Martinez as a favorite. But the focus is on Jose, and allow me to extend this for the next 5 minutes as you indulge, okay? When you leave a sport, if you were the number one guy and you start coming down, you fall to number 5. You are never going to get your spot back. Now, there are exceptions to that. There are exceptions, but then there's a story behind the exception. Like, let me give you 2. Lance Armstrong took 7 years off. He comes back. He's number 11 in the world. He ends up reconquering, and it was an awesome thing. And he was a chemically enhanced monstrosity. So you start to find out there's a little bit more to it. But in Lance's defense, he was on top when he left. He wasn't sliding. And that is vastly different. And that's really the part I wanted. I just didn't want to miss the opportunity to call him a chemically enhanced monstrosity. So you then have George Foreman. Now, George Foreman was one of the top guys, but when he left and he came back and he catches and knocks out Michael Moore, I mean, it's one of those situations where though Foreman won and though he became number 1 again, and he had started to slide previously to retire, and he was also losing that fight, and he was losing it handily, and he caught him with a shot, and in a sport like fighting, those types of things can happen. The reason I go down that road with you, when you're scrolling over to DraftKings, you're taking on like here at Jonathan, but you're wanting to celebrate Jose, and you're wanting to know why is he coming back, and you're wanting to know how, and you want to know what his level of fitness is, you want to know what his commitment is. I do want to tell you there's a number of things that are extremely unique about Jose Aldo's return that if you're looking to handicap this thing, you might find some pretty good odds at DraftKings. And number 1, this is an easy fight for Jose. Now, Jonathan is not an easy fighter. It's an easy fight. What do I mean? Well, Jose spent his career in the 5-round club. The guy was the champion of the world for 11 straight years. When he wasn't the champion of the world, he was on a trajectory back to the championship of the world, even if it was in a different weight class. 3 rounds? Not the main event? Not all the pressure? It's a very different situation. In your hometown, not having to do the flight, not having to do the travel, excited, coming back. Now, don't forget, Jose was busy, and Jose was boxing. I watched him take on Jeremy Stephens. I think he had a couple of other fights. I got to see the Stephens fight. He was training and preparing to take on Floyd Mayweather in the Middle East. Whether you guys know that or not, the fact that he was training and he was preparing. See, this is what changes everything. When guys leave a sport, they leave the lifestyle. They get a little more time on their hands. They got a little money in their pocket. Maybe they go out and they sow some of their oats that they didn't do because they were so disciplined before. Well, that's a very different scenario to come back to than being Jose Aldo, who's in the gym constantly, even though you're focused on boxing. Don't forget, he was still in an MMA gym. Jose Aldo, even while doing the boxing. And see, we don't know this. This has never come out. It's never come out if he was training MMA and then kind of focused in on boxing a little bit more. Or if, while going to the MMA gym, Andre Pederneiras had broken off a dedicated boxing area and or time. It's very unclear. We know that he's been training, we know that he's been staying active, we know that he's in the gym, and we know that he's in the same gym, and we know that he is with the same coach, Andre Pederneiras. And we've chosen to believe that he got away from MMA, but we don't actually have that evidence. And that is very different. It's a very different scenario. Now, there's other indicators that you will always look at if you're ever trying to handicap a fight. And very often, you will know who the promotion believes is going to win. And that can be a big clue. Now, the promotion gets it wrong quite often, but they would be the biggest experts in the room. Can we agree? And like, just for example, you want to go over to DraftKings, every now and then they'll take odds. They've had WrestleMania before. So now, and they'll limit your bet to $500, but now you're fully going with who do we predict as the viewer that the office wants to win. It's a very interesting thing. Jose Aldo revealed a very interesting clue. He said that he does not have a new contract, that he is just finishing out his original contract, that he had one fight left on his original contract, that he was not given an extension. Now, that would be a clue if he didn't get an extension offer that the promotion does not believe he's going to win. But how accurate do you think that is? How many guys on their way out, how many guys on their last fight fought on a main card of a pay-per-view at home? Go ahead, I'll wait. You're going to have a real hard time coming up with an answer. So it's an interesting spot, and it's an interesting matchup. And I just feel like nobody fully knows, and I predict for you this as well. The line at DraftKings will move between Friday and Saturday. Why? Because of the weigh-in. Picture is worth 1,000 words, and when they face them off, we're going to have our answer on Jose Aldo and his level of fitness. It's going to come right then. And we're going to start hearing reports from the gym. You guys remember 1 week ago with Ryan Garcia, where his team started turning on him, saying he was drunk all the time, and he was smoking dope, and he misses weight, and the whole team turns on him, and the whole line moves. And then allegedly Garcia used that and bet on himself. He did not. This is the story. He did not bet on himself. But I'm sharing with you, like, allegedly, and the way that all these things fall into place. Like, there is a number of questions out there on Jose Aldo, and they all seem to be pointing towards the positive. They all seem to be pointing in a direction that he is about to come in and storm and blindside some people as a sandbagger. And I'm starting to lean in that direction and feel it myself. And when I go over to DraftKings and I see that Martinez is the favorite, I'm almost waiting. And I do think that that line is going to move. The only question is which way, right? There is something going on, and I can't tell it for you. Daniel Cormier started to tell it to me. But I must admit, I didn't fully grasp it, which has to do with Jose Aldo when he went to boxing and believed that his career in MMA was done. There was a testing agency known as USADA. USADA, in the meanwhile, no relation to Jose in his career, but is out, new company is in. And there has always been a debate on how long a returning athlete has to be in the pool, which is very relevant that you know, because a first-time athlete doesn't have to be in it at all. And I only suggest for you that we have to watch guys like this that come back, that come on short notice, that are a surprise fight, that are a fight that you didn't know about. It's a location fight, meaning they're in a specific area. It's a return fight. It's a last-time fight. We have to pay attention to these as a way of learning the rules. And I think that we're getting exposed to a potentially new policy here, which would be pretty cool. Something else that we're going to keep our eye on. More of that to come. DraftKings right now has got Jonathan Martinez, a solid favorite. He is a solid favorite. But I would ask you to ask yourself something. Do you think Jose is going to win? All right, great. Stop right there. If he wins, how? And if you believe he wins and he has to stop him, and you could predict the round, you're going to like those odds at DraftKings. Go check them out right now.